Coming back at you with some more of that Lamplight City, y'all. Here it is. I was a little early this time. But let's keep on rolling. Alright, so remember last time we found out she was researching spontaneous combustion, the chick that burned up. Some rich Van Damme lady. Anyway, she's writing an article about it. She burned up. She was drunk. We talked to one of her friends who apparently likes younger dudes. So we kind of hit on her a little bit. But our wife does her hair, so we're eventually going to send her in to spy, but we want to get some more information. The first thing we need to do, we need to go see the doctor. Where is the doctor? It's not at a bank. It's not going to be at the magazine. Not at the supper club. Police station?
Dear Lord, what is that smell? Did you step in something out there, Fordham?
Private investigation is a dirty job, Upton. You know that.
All right, what do we got here?
Got a moment, Upton?
Yes, but let's make this quick.
Would it be possible for me to access the mortuary?
The mortuary? What for?
I'd like to consult with Dr. Edwards.
All right, but be careful. Make sure you don't let Snelling see you back there.
That's it for now.
Better get
Yeah,
back to it
wrap-up
then.
case? No way. We're not going to say she burned up. I guess this is where the morgue is.
Dr. Edwards' lab was always a fascinating
Oh, wow.
place to
Look
learn
at all
about
this
death.
stuff.
A bit less so now that I'm quite the expert.
Oh, did I miss cleaning up some bit of that last corpse? Oh, Fordham, what brings you down here?
Hello, Edwards. I was wondering if I could pick your brain.
Yes, of course. There's one in a jar over there, and I may have another one around here somewhere.
Yeah, there's
That
what he's talking
coroner
about.
humor never gets old, does it?
Anyway, let me know what you want to discuss. This fellow's not going anywhere.
Well, let's start with
It
the
looks
brain.
rather fresh. There's a plaque at the base of the jar that says H. Putnam. Well, at least he died with a smile on his face. Sort of.
Missing a couple teeth.
I'm pretty sure I saw Edwards weighing his lunch on this once.
That's kind of gross.
I remember when Edwards used to keep his collection of preserved reproductive organs on this shelf. He must be getting soft in his old age. Or perhaps that's exactly what happened to his collection. Assorted lab equipment for setting things on fire or causing explosions. You know, the perfect way to pass the time.
Hell yeah.
Assorted lab. A fine example of well-developed deltoids, latissimus dorsi, and gluteus maximi. The
Nice
brain
butt.
is truly a fascinating organ. If only more people used it. I wonder if Edwards ever got around to fixing this typewriter. The letter E being out of alignment always made his reports a nightmare to read. You've seen one dissected torso, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
It sure is a lot of rubbish crammed inside our upper bodies, isn't there?
Man, there's a lot of stuff in here.
It's important to keep your hands clean when dealing with dead bodies. After all, you never know where they've been. Until after the post-mortem exam, anyway. This provides the room with just the right amount of heat. Unlike the incinerators in the crematorium. Talk about overkill. I'd say being hooked up to that machine was the worst experience of my life. Except I was already dead at the time.
Ew.
Imagine a
He
giant
remembers
mosquito sucking out all your blood and then replacing it with formaldehyde. Not
He
very
remembers
pleasant.
it?
Edwards keeps assorted bottles and specimens in there. Nothing too remarkable that I can see. Seems to be empty for now. That's most definitely a good thing.
Look at his table.
Edwards must have some very good friends in the department who have gotten this custom-made table. It does suit the room, though.
All right, I think that's all we can do. Oh,
I
the
feel
drink.
sorry for the poor slob who has to clean that out.
Oh, that is true. Oh, nasty shit gets
Pardon
on the
me,
floor.
Edwards.
Blech.
Yes?
I've got these human ashes from a crime scene.
Straight to the point. I knew I liked you for a reason, Fordham.
That's what I'm talking
Who do
about.
they belong to?
Desiree Lathan. She was a Gascon Grand Dame.
Oh, of course. I heard about that case. She was found burned in her home, wasn't she?
That's right.
I meant to go over there later today.
Well, then I suppose I've saved you the journey. Would you have a look at these?
Does this mean you're officially on the case?
Not as
Nope.
such. In fact, I'd appreciate it if you didn't mention I'd been here.
Ah, clandestine operation. Sneaking around under Snelling's nose.
You got
I
it,
don't have
baby.
much of a choice. I'm pretty much persona non grata around here these days.
Well, you're always welcome in my mortuary. Preferably while still breathing, of course.
That's what I like to hear,
Anyway,
buddy. Now we
I'll
got a
just take those
doctor on the
ashes
team.
off your hands. I'm sure your social life will soon improve.
Yes, I was making quite the impression.
This is an interesting choice of container.
It was either that or carry them around in my bare hands.
Well, I'm a bit busy right now, but I should have something for you within the next couple of hours.
That's not too
But you
bad.
do realize the information won't be exclusive to you. I'll have to pass it on to the detectives on the case.
Ooh, I gotta.
Naturally.
It's a race.
That just gives me more of an incentive to work quickly. I found this piece of burned cloth at the crime scene. Could you take a look at it for me?
This is from the Lathan case?
You
It
got
is,
it.
yes.
What do you need me to look at exactly?
It appears to have some oily residue on it.
Interesting. I'm afraid I have my hands full right now, but you can feel free to use my workbench if you'd like.
Uh-oh.
To do what exactly?
Surely they taught you something about basic chemical analysis when you worked here.
Yes, well, I always let Bill handle the more
Well, good
technical
thing we got Bill in
aspects
our
of
head.
cases.
A real pity I'm not around to help you anymore, isn't it?
But I'll have a look and see if something comes back to me. Keeping busy down here, Edwards?
Oh, you know me. I've always got my hands in someone.
Edwards always did have a way with words.
That's
This
just not
postmortem was
right.
just a formality, really. The victim died of a gunshot wound to the head. Last week, though, we had a real kicker. An old man was brought in, and though he appeared quite dead, I was told that he'd been in a trance for over half a year. Apparently, he was hypnotized right at the point of death, and somehow managed to remain alive, in a fashion.
That's fucked up.
In any case, when I began performing the exam, his entire body decayed into a putrefied mess within minutes. It was fascinating.
Should you really be giving me these details, Edwards?
Oh, hell, I don't mind telling you, Miles. It's not like you're going to go tell Snelling. Besides, you're the only one who's come to see me all week. Dead people make lousy conversationalists.
Hey, I take offense to that statement.
What's up with
So,
the chief?
Snelling got promoted to chief, did he?
Yes, not too long after you left. Personally, I think he took advantage of your situation to change things around here.
Was it really that much of a shock? Bill and I weren't exactly the most well-liked detectives on the force.
But you were respected. You two solved over 350 cases in 15 years. You were an institution.
That's right, baby.
Damn right we were. It's so easy for people to resent their more successful peers.
Ah, Edwards. Nice to know someone missed us. You didn't examine Bill after he died, did you?
Ha! He wishes.
No, there was nothing inconclusive about his death. He died from impact after falling from the roof of a building. Why? Was there something else I should have looked into?
No, I was just curious.
As fond as I am of Edwards, it would have been a bit much for him to go poking around my inside.
I thought we shot him.
Thanks. That's all I needed to know for the moment.
Maybe we
Anytime,
didn't shoot him.
Fordham.
Okay, so we gotta use the workbench. We should probably save this shit.
It's been ages since we got to do any type of chemical analysis. This will be grand.
Dr. Edwards, could you remind me what it is I'm meant to be doing?
Yes, of course. Go ahead and get as much of that oily residue from the cloth into the petri dish. Good. Now add some of the chemical reagent in the red bottle to the dish.
Okay.
Aha! The oil turned orange.
Yes! The reagent has caused a chemical reaction and changed the oil's color. Isn't science fun?
Huh.
Quite. But how does this help me?
I have some samples of the most common types of flammable oils on the shelf. Go ahead and add them to the test tubes. Good. Now simply check each one with the reagent to see if you can find a match.
And if I don't find one?
Then I suggest going out and looking for more oil samples.
little coal oil. And then a little red.
Too bad. I would have bet on it being coal oil.
Alright, try a little kerosene. And I have a feeling we're going to have to be finding another oil sample.
So much for kerosene being the culprit.
Whale oil? It's gonna be like some kind of booze or something.
Well, oil be damned. Looks like that's not a match.
Of course it turned blue.
Oh, you love it.
So we gotta find some oil. Interesting.
I don't think the good doctor has anything else to teach.
Alright, so none of those matched. So we gotta find some more oily substances to see if we can get it to match. Alright, so we've talked to the doctor. Good there. Let's go talk to the lawyer. Because he's not really a suspect. He's just giving us information.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the law offices of Usher and Price. May I help you?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator, and I'm looking for Jonas Usher.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but Mr. Usher is not seeing anyone today.
Why
If it's
not?
a matter of urgent legal importance, you could see Mr. Price.
That pipe really clashes with the rest of the decor in here. The plaque says it's a portrait of Thomas Usher. Looks like a real go-getter.
It's like, kind of like a douchebag.
Begging your pardon, sir.
Yes?
If I may ask, what is the reason for Mr. Usher's refusal to see anyone today?
He has a rather important trial starting tomorrow and doesn't want to run the risk of falling ill.
Falling ill?
And Mr. Usher is very particular about his health. Very particular.
I see. Sir, it is of the utmost importance that I speak with Mr. Usher.
And as I said, he isn't taking visitors today.
But it's in regards to his client, Desiree Lathan. Or should I say, former client.
Ooh,
Miss Lathan found another attorney?
this
No,
Lathan's dead.
I'm sorry to be the one to have to inform you, but she's dead.
Dead? I had no idea.
No? It was in today's newspaper.
I haven't read it yet. Mr. Usher forbids it in the office.
Oh, weirdo.
But surely he's read it. Just because he forbids you reading the paper in the office.
No, I mean he forbids the presence of newspapers in the office. He fears they bring in outside germs.
Weirdo.
I see.
In any case, if what you say is true, I'll need some sort of proof.
I suppose just bringing in a copy of the newspaper is out of the question then. We'll have to find another way.
I wish we had the ashes.
Perhaps Mr. Usher will see me when he sees this.
Oh, what's that?
A letter from Mr. Usher to his client, Desiree Lathan.
What? That's private correspondence. How did you get that?
It was evidence I found at a crime scene.
And how is it relevant?
The crime scene in question was Miss Lathan's own bedroom, where she was found burned to death.
That's quite a claim, Mr. Fordham. I can assure you that Mr. Usher deals primarily with facts. Right now, the only fact this letter proves to me is that you somehow rummaged through Miss Lathan's
Oh, come
possessions
on, man.
and acquired it.
He does have a point. We'll need something a bit more persuasive.
I actually don't have anything to show.
Right. Please stop wasting my time then. I'm very busy.
I appreciate your time.
Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
It would be unwise to barge into Mr. Usher's office having been told he isn't seeing anyone today. We need to find a way to make him change his mind.
I wonder... Upton have something?
Got a moment, Upton?
Yes, but let's make this quick.
Oh. No?
That's it for now.
Better get...
Let's go talk to this Peter dude.
Mr. Fordham.
Ah, Mr. Dupre. Good to see you again. Is all well with you?
Absolutely. Everything is wonderful. Because of you, this city has finally seen Laura Dupre for the monster she is. I cannot thank you enough.
I suppose you're welcome?
Now then, is there anything I can help you with?
Yes, I'm looking for Peter Andrews. I was told he worked here.
Yeah.
That's right. His desk is just over there.
Thank you, Mr. Dupre. Lovely seeing you.
We haven't got anything else to...
Nothing to talk to, old Jean?
What an absurd contraption. Imagine needing all those extra bits and bobs just to tell the time.
It's a big clock.
I tried using one of these automatic money dispensers once, but I nearly got my arm stuck inside. They still got a long way to go. Yeah, impressive bit of hardware. It would take a criminal mastermind to rob this bank.
And that is not us. That is for damn sure.
Mr. Andrews.
Yes?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. May I ask you a few questions?
Yes, I suppose that would be fine. Have a seat.
I'd rather stand if it's all the same to you. Now then. Exactly what is your role here at the bank?
I'm the
yes.
manager. I handle the new accounts, organize finance, that sort of thing.
Have you been here long?
Coming up on 17 years. Is this at all relevant to your investigation?
Anything could be, Mr. Andrews. Do you know Desiree Lathan?
Desiree Lathan? No, I can't say the name rings any bells.
You say you don't know Miss Lathan.
Interesting.
Would you care to explain these?
Why are they crumpled up? Did she throw them out? And why do you have them?
I just love catching people like this.
Relax, Mr. Andrews. Let's take this slowly. Now, I can assume by your reaction that these are your letters?
Yes, they are.
So why did you lie about knowing Miss Lathan?
I promised my wife I would cut off contact.
But you clearly didn't. The most recent letter is from 2 weeks ago.
Did she hire you?
Your wife? No, that's not why I'm here.
Ah, well, that's somewhat of a relief then.
So your wife knows about your correspondence with Miss Lathan?
Well, I don't know if you could really call it correspondence. Desiree never wrote back. But yes, Peggy, that is to say Margaret found out shortly after we married.
Exactly how many letters did this bounder send, I wonder?
At first I tried to make it out that she was just a friend, but she found one of the more intimate ones while I was writing it.
I see. And what was her reaction?
What do you think? I still have the scar from the glass that she threw at me.
You're still married?
Oh yes. Margaret comes from a very strict Catholic family. They would sooner she die than divorce. It hasn't been easy. She makes sure to take full advantage of the situation. Always buying herself the most expensive jewelry and spending a fortune on food for those wretched cats. I swear, they're better fed than I am.
Where might I find Mrs. Andrews? I'd like to speak to her.
Our house is at 713 Longfellow Street, just at the edge of Gascon. But I warn you, it's a goddamn menagerie she's got. I'd stay away if you're averse to being covered in animal hair.
I'll take my chances.
All right. The wife.
Were you aware of Miss Lathan's death?
What? Desiree is dead?
Nope.
No.
She was found burned to death in her bed.
You're lying. You have to be.
I'm afraid I'm not, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, Desiree.
Do you have any idea who might have wanted to kill her?
No, she was a marvelous woman.
Well, I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news, but at least you won't have to worry about writing any more letters.
That isn't funny, Mr. Fordham.
Yes, it
is.
was. Don't listen to him.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Andrews.
Got anything for Jean?
We haven't got it. Nothing else to...
All right, so we got his wife as a suspect. We still don't have anything official. There's the Andrews residence. Well, let's we want to see if the report's ready. Has it been a couple hours? What counts as a couple hours in this game?
Pardon me, Edwards.
Yes?
Have you had a chance to look at those ashes I gave you?
Yes, I have. Unfortunately, there isn't much I can tell you.
Oh, come
The
on.
victim burned to death at a very high temperature. These ashes are greasy and putrid because of liquefied fat from the body, which burned like a candle. As to what caused her to burn, I cannot say without more evidence. I'm sorry, Miles.
It's quite all right, Edwards. I appreciate the information nonetheless.
Well, just so you don't go away empty-handed, have a copy of my report. Maybe it will be of some use.
There we go.
Thanks. That's all I needed to know for the moment.
Anytime, Fordham.
Now we can use that to go to the law office. Just in case she's
Got a
got
moment?
something.
Yeah?
No,
That's it.
Better get.
we're not wrapping up nothing yet. Nothing, fishy. We're not wrapping up nothing. Alright, so now let's go see Usher and Price. Talk to the secretary. Legal
Begging your
assistant.
pardon, sir.
Yes?
Perhaps Mr. Usher will see me when he sees this.
Oh, what's that?
A report from Dr. Malcolm Edwards, the city coroner, confirming Miss Lathan's untimely demise.
Let me see that.
Yeah?
Oh my. Wait one moment, would you?
Martin, what is the meaning of this?
The gentleman who brought that is a private investigator. He's waiting outside to see you.
Send him in then.
You heard him, Mr. Fordham. You may go inside and see Mr. Usher.
MC
Thank you
Usher.
kindly.
Chicka, chicka.
So, a private investigator, are you?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Miles Fordham is my name.
Jonas Usher, a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure's all mine.
So, it would seem that Miss Lathan has shuffled off the mortal coil, as it were.
I'm sorry to say that is indeed the case.
Please come in, have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. I only ask that you kindly wash your hands in the basin first, and limit what you touch in here.
This one seems a bit on edge,
a
doesn't he?
little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. I appreciate your cooperation.
Usher seems to like keeping his guests.
Okay. Well, I guess we should look
Mr.
around
Usher,
first.
I have some questions for you.
And hopefully I have your answers.
How long have you been practicing law, Mr. Usher?
Look at those
Usher
chops.
and Price has been operating since 1805. I took over from my father 15 years ago. The stress hasn't helped my heartburn, I can tell you that. Why, just last night I was tossing and turning because I couldn't stand the burning in my throat. That's why I've got these bags under my eyes, you know.
Ah, yes. And Mr. Price?
He's still here, although I think he'll probably be retiring soon as well. But the law firm has done well over the years, and I have a feeling it'll do even better in the years to come.
Oh, why is that?
We're currently beginning a group litigation against Royal Maverick for the Lygia disaster. I'm confident that we'll recover quite a significant sum for the families of those killed. You weren't
keep coming
by
back to
chance
that.
affected by the disaster, were you?
Thankfully, I wasn't, no.
Shame. You could have joined the class action and done quite well when we win.
You know, I always thought we detectives made our living off human tragedy.
Mr. Usher, I've noticed from your rules and habits that you seem to have a particular aversion to germs. Why is that, if I may ask?
I've been ill most of my life, Mr. Fordham. I was a sickly child, and unfortunately my condition hasn't improved with age. It's a miracle I'm still alive. That's why I'm so careful about exposing myself to germs.
I see.
How's my color? Do
Good
I
thing
look
we didn't
pale
bring
to
the
you?
ashes here.
Not particularly.
I saw myself in the mirror this morning and thought I looked a bit peaked. Also, my leg has been hurting more than usual, which has been cause for concern.
Nah, you've really done it, Miles.
Yes, well, moving on. What can
He's
you
a
tell me about Desiree Lathan?
Germaphobe and
She
what's-
was a
people that
lovely-
always think they're sick.
I'm saddened to hear of her unfortunate passing.
How long had you been her attorney?
She retained me some 10 years ago, I believe.
That's quite a long time.
Yes, I remember I had just gotten over a bout of melancholia and been able to work in nearly a month. I didn't think I'd make it out of that, but Luckily, things took a turn for the better.
He's
Miss Lathan
crazy.
came to see me, and I've served as her attorney ever since.
Would you say Miss Lathan is a wealthy woman?
Indeed, I would. Her estate is worth a significant sum. Of course, you understand that this is confidential information, so I cannot tell you the exact amount.
Yes, of course. Can you think of anyone who may have wanted to harm Miss Lathan?
No, I can't. What makes you think that someone actually killed her?
It seems the most plausible explanation.
Miss Lathan was getting on in years. It's likely she may have developed a case of pneumonia. That's the
No.
most common killer of the elderly, you know. I had it when I was younger. Most
Of course he
unpleasant.
did.
Constant coughing, spitting up phlegm, rattling in the lungs.
I've had pneumonia before. It
Thankfully,
does
I made a
suck.
full recovery.
But supposing that was the cause of death, how would it explain the fact that her body was completely burned?
She was a smoker. Perhaps she was having a cigarette when she died and dropped it on the bed, causing it to catch fire.
Wasn't that kind
I
of
found
fire?
no cigarette butts at the crime scene.
I'm merely offering my opinion, Mr. Fordham. You can take it or leave it.
I'm leaving it.
I think we should leave it.
I found this letter in Miss Lathan's bedroom, which mentions that she recently changed her will. Could you tell me a bit more about the circumstances surrounding this change?
That's not an uncommon occurrence. People change their wills all the time. Relatives and friends fall in and out of favor constantly.
Had Miss Lathan made changes to her will previously?
No, this was the first time.
What change did she make exactly?
Just a change to her beneficiary. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Who is it?
And when did this change occur?
About 4 months ago, if I recall correctly. Yes, it was definitely in June, because I'd been in bed with a nasty stomach flu at the end of May. That was no fun, let me tell you. I think I lost nearly 6 pounds from the constant trips to the WC. Couldn't keep a thing
water
down,
closet?
and whatever did stay down soon came out the other end, if you get my meaning.
I'd say his meaning is regrettably impossible to avoid.
Who did Miss Lathan name as her new beneficiary?
That's not
Mr.
confidential.
Fordham, please.
Come
You know, I
on.
couldn't possibly tell you that. There is such a thing as attorney-client privilege.
Tell me or I'll sneeze on you.
Do you not find it suspicious, Mr. Usher, that Miss Lathan died under such mysterious circumstances only 4 months after naming a new beneficiary? You said yourself she was wealthy. Does it not make sense that someone might have wanted her inheritance?
I suppose it's not entirely out of the question.
Right. So tell me the name of Miss Lathan's beneficiary so I can determine if this was, in fact, a murder.
Very well. It was a man named Roger DeVay.
Do you have any information on where I can find him?
Roger DeVay.
Only his address. It's 775 Pumblechook Place in Chumley.
That'll do nicely. Thank you, Mr. Usher.
Chumley.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Usher.
The pleasure is all mine, Mr. Fordham.
Stern-looking lady. Is there anything more boring than books on law? Just reading the titles is making me drowsy. Adds a nice bit of color to the room.
It is. It's the only thing that's really colorful.
Judging by how full these bottles are, Usher doesn't indulge much. What a waste.
We wash our hands again.
Don't get carried away with the hand washing, or you might end up like Usher.
All right. So we got another suspect.
Nothing more to ask.
The DeVay residence. Brentwood magazine. The crazy wife. What, he's a painter? Oily substance? I bet that's where we find what we're looking for. I'm gonna save it in case we don't go to Adelaide soon enough. Crossroads. What time is it? How long have we been going for? We got a little bit longer. Okay, let's go check the crazy wife.
Nice house. It definitely screams, eccentric person lives here. Speaking of which, That must be Mrs. Andrews over there with those rodents. Rats with fluffy tails. How anyone can find them endearing is beyond me.
I got a whole bunch of them in my backyard. Don't we fish?
Excuse me, Mrs. Andrews?
May I help you?
That's
I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I was hoping you could answer a few questions.
All right then. Don't worry, my darlings. Mommy only needs a moment to speak to the nice man, then I'll give you all the nuts you can eat. My little friends just adore nuts, Mr. Fordham.
Guess that explains why squirrels are so attracted to her.
yes. Let's talk
Do you
about
have
yourself
any hobbies
first.
or pastimes, Mrs. Andrews?
Well, of course. I do a bit of knitting and I take care of my pets.
I take it you're fond of animals?
Oh, yes. I just love animals. Most prove to be better company than people.
Is that right?
Well, consider this, Mr. Fordham. Animals can't betray you or lie.
Aw, see?
Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going.
My furry little companions would never hurt me, unlike several humans I could name.
Who are these companions, exactly?
Why, my darling little kitties and squirrel friends, of course.
Tell me about your cats.
They're the most wonderful little dears.
I have a feeling once
Do
I
you
mentioned
have any
the...
pets?
Afraid not. My wife isn't too fond of cleaning up after animals.
Pity. Cats make wonderful pets. They're good company and are independent, unlike dogs.
I would have to agree.
Edgar and Hubert are my pride and joy.
Edgar and
I
Hubert.
give them only the best of everything, and they in turn give me their unconditional love.
That's delightful.
I used to have a wonderful cat named Tobias, but he had an unfortunate accident.
Poor Tobias.
That's why I never let my two angels out of the house.
What happened to Tobias the cat?
Oh, I really rather not talk about that. It wasn't my finest hour. Let's just say it was an honest misunderstanding which got blown way out of proportion.
Well, now I just have to know what happened.
yes.
I hate it when people tease gossip and don't deliver.
We'll have to go
Your
talk to
squirrel
her
friends
husband
are
about
quite
it.
tame.
Oh, aren't they just the sweetest? And so smart, too. When I feed them, they come up and put their little paws on my hands as though they were giving me little squirrel hugs.
No, she's
and
nuts.
The way they look into my eyes, I can almost hear them saying, "Thank you for the nuts."
Well, you should be grateful that it's only my voice you hear and not some rabid squirrels.
Yeah, it's...
Did you know Desiree Lathan?
Not personally. I never met her, but I knew exactly who she was.
And who was that?
A miserable drunk. Always going out and getting liquored up at her so-called socialite balls. They try to make them seem so fancy and high class, but it's really just a bunch of bitter old hags getting together to gossip about each other. With that kind of lifestyle, it was only a matter of time before it caught up with her.
Do you happen to know anything about the circumstances surrounding the death of Miss Lathan?
I read in the paper that she was burned to death. In her bed, wasn't it?
That's right. Do you have any idea how that may have happened?
Well, I already told you she was a drunk. Maybe she came home plastered and decided to smoke in bed.
Yeah, I like
Rather
where it keeps saying
surprised
that.
she was sleeping alone. That woman got around, if you know what I mean.
She certainly seems to know a lot about Desiree for someone who claims to have never met her.
Thank you for the chat. It was very enlightening.
Oh, my pleasure, Mr.
All right, let's
Fordham.
run to her husband.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to tending to my
Yeah.
little
You
darlings.
need to get back to something, all right. You ever met his wife?
We haven't got anything.
All right, we gotta know
Mr.
about
Andrews.
Tobias.
Yes?
Is there anything you can tell me about your wife's old cat, Tobias?
Oh, God. There's a name I was hoping never to hear again.
Gotta hear this shit.
She loved that cat. I'm sure she would have married it instead of me if she could. Mangy little bastard was always leaving a mess and knocking things over, but he was Peggy's little angel. Then one day I'd had enough, so I let him outside, and
Yes?
The stupid thing managed to get itself killed. Then things got ugly.
How so?
Peggy got a bit carried away and, well, let's just say I never imagined a cat could earn someone a criminal record.
Wow.
The plot thickens. Or perhaps sickens.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Andrews.
All right, so now we gotta go talk to Upton. What just got updated? Okay, Supper Club. Right to right of it. Learn more about her criminal record. Okay, I
Got a moment, Upton?
Yes, but let's make this quick.
I need some information on one Margaret Andrews. Apparently, she has a criminal record.
Margaret Andrews, eh? Give me a moment to look her up in the archives. Yes, here we are. Margaret Andrews was brought in for questioning 5 years ago in connection with a fire at a theater in Worcester.
Oh?
Yes, nothing came of it, but she was briefly a suspect. Oh, there's more. She also had a prior conviction for arson.
You don't say.
The file says she set fire to a cab after the driver ran over her cat. She served 6 months in prison for that. This was back in 1835.
Fascinating.
Thank you for your help, Upton. This
she
has been
burned the
extremely
cabbie
valuable.
because he hit the cat.
So, Margaret Andrews has a jealous streak and a penchant for setting things on fire. Seems a likely culprit to me.
That's it for now.
Better get back to it then.
Okay, we gotta find the oily substance. But we're gonna have to do that next time, hopefully. It won't be tonight. So drop a like if you haven't already. Drop a sub if you're new. I am out of